What has become too expensive that it's no longer worth it? Story 1. I pulled into McDonald's the other day, craving some nostalgia. Big Mac, fries, and a Coke. Simple, right? The cashier said, "That'll be $13.97, and I actually laughed out loud, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. For that price, I should at least get a side of shame with my soggy fries. I left still hungry and regretting my life choices, wondering when value meals started requiring a small loan. Story 2. I sat down to watch a movie the other night and realized I didn't have the right streaming service. No problem, I thought. I'll just sign up for a free trial, except I'd already used it. Then I checked 6 other platforms, each requiring a subscription, only to give up and rent the movie for $3.99. At this rate, I might as well start my own streaming service. Confused and broke plus. Story 3. I went into Goodwill last week to browse for deals and saw a used, dusty vase priced at $25. I picked it up, half expecting it to contain a genie granting 3 wishes, because what else could justify that price? Turns out it didn't. Just a sad reminder that even thrift stores are too fancy for me now. Story 4. My wife had a craving for Taco Bell, so I drove over to grab us a quick lunch. 2 crunch wraps and a quesadilla. Simple enough. The cashier said, "That'll be $24, and I nearly drove off right then and there. For that price, I could have gone to a nice Mexican restaurant and had a margarita to wash down my shock. Story 5. I bought a new car with remote start built in. Fancy, right? Wrong. Turns out, I have to pay a monthly subscription to use it. A subscription for a button that's already there. If I ever meet the person who came up with that idea, I'm handing them my car key and asking if they'd like to rent it back from me. Story 6. I'll never forget the time I drove to McDonald's after a long shift, ready to reward myself with a classic combo meal, something I've done for years without a second thought. I ordered my usual, a Big Mac, medium fries, and a Coke. The total, $13.97, for one meal. I actually laughed, thinking they must have added someone else's order to mine. But no, that was the price. I paid it because, hey, I was starving and too tired to argue, but that moment stuck with me. A couple of days later, I stopped by a sit-down diner on a whim. For $12, I got a full breakfast spread. Eggs, sausage, bacon, hash browns, fruit, and French toast. Plus, the coffee kept coming, and I got to sit in a cozy booth with real silverware. That's when I realized fast food isn't the cheap escape it used to be. It's a convenience tax now, plain and simple. And honestly, it's not even that convenient anymore, with drive-through lines so long you could practically bake your own burger at home. Story 7. I subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, and HBO Max, but I still couldn't find the show I wanted to watch. Then I realized it's on some random service called Paramount+. At this rate, I need a spreadsheet to track my subscriptions. Story 8. Last week, I went downtown and needed to park. The sign said, "Pay via app only." So I downloaded the app, created an account, entered my card info, and paid $3 for parking. By the time I was done, I was ready to pay another $3 to delete the stupid app. Story 9. When I first cut the cord and signed up for Netflix, I felt like I'd cracked the code on modern entertainment. $10 a month and no commercials? Count me in. But over the years, it's been like death by 1,000 subscriptions. Netflix raised its prices, then Hulu added a premium tier, and don't even get me started on Disney+, Prime, and all the others. Before I knew it, I was paying more for streaming than I ever did for cable. And the kicker? Half of these services now come with ads unless you pay extra. So here I am, shelling out for ad-free Hulu, only to see their monthly rate creep up again. The final straw was Prime adding ads to shows even though I already pay for membership. I canceled most of them, and now I rotate a single service at a time. It's a hassle, but I refuse to pay hundreds a month just to watch reruns or get stuck in endless content recommendation loops. Honestly, I miss the simplicity of flipping through channels and finding something random. Story 10. A friend of mine is spending $50,000 on her wedding, and she asked if I wanted to be a bridesmaid. When I saw the cost of the dress, shoes, and destination bachelorette party, I politely declined. I'll send a nice card and keep my savings account intact. Story 11. I checked the price for a lift ticket this year. $329 for one day at Vail. That's more than my monthly car payment. Forget the slopes. I'll just slide down my driveway on a trash can lid and call it a winter sport. Story 12. I used to love spending weekends digging through thrift stores. There was something magical about finding a hidden gem for a couple of bucks, like the time I snagged a vintage leather jacket for $10. But lately, thrifting has turned into an overpriced joke. A few weeks ago, I went to Goodwill, looking for some casual shirts, and I couldn't believe the price tags. Faded, worn-out tees from mall brands were going for $30 or more. $30 for second-hand clothes? I could get new stuff for less at Walmart on sale. And it's not just Goodwill. All the thrift stores around me have caught the same greed bug. The final insult came when I peeled off a $5 sticker from a toy kit I bought for my kid, only to find the original $3 Target tag underneath. I still love the idea of thrifting, but now I save my energy for garage sales or give things away directly on local buy-nothing groups. It's not worth dealing with these corporate-run thrift stores anymore. Story 13. I was grocery shopping and thought, let's grab some Doritos. It's been a while. Then I saw the price tag, $6.99 for a bag that's half air. I put it back, feeling like I needed to apologize to my wallet. At this rate, I'll be hosting parties with carrots and hummus. Story 14. When I was a teenager, concerts were everything. I saw some of the biggest bands in the world for $30 or $40, and the memories? Priceless. But these days, ticket prices are downright insane. A few months ago, I thought about taking my kids to their first big show. We checked Ticketmaster, and I nearly fell out of my chair. Nosebleed seats for a mid-tier band were $150 each. Add in parking, snacks, and a couple of T-shirts, and we'd be dropping close to $800 for one night. I couldn't do it. It's not just Ticketmaster either. Even smaller venues are raising prices, and don't get me started on the convenience fees that seem to add 30% to every ticket. Now I stick to local shows and up-and-coming artists. It's cheaper, the venues are more intimate, and sometimes you can even meet the band. My kids will get their big concert experience someday, but for now, they'll have to settle for discovering the magic of live music on a budget. Story 15. I grabbed a bag of Doritos at the store and noticed it was $6.99 for a bag that's mostly air. At this point, I'll just make my own chips at home, thinly sliced potatoes and some salt. Way cheaper, and I won't feel robbed. Story 16. I pulled out my old ski gear the other day, dreaming of hitting the slopes. Then I checked ticket prices. $329 for one day at Vail. I nearly choked on my coffee. For that much, I'd expect a personal butler to carry me down the mountain. My skis are staying in the garage. Story 17. I went to a concert and ordered one beer. The bartender said, "That'll be $19.50 for one beer." I almost asked if it came with a side of gold flakes or a personal serenade from the band. Instead, I just went thirsty. Story 18. I remember when my buddy got married a couple of years ago. He and his wife spent months saving up and planning this huge event with hundreds of guests, custom decor, and all the bells and whistles. The final bill? Over $40,000. I'll never forget the look on his face the day after when he told me how many credit cards they'd maxed out to pull it off. He admitted that most of the people there were distant relatives or acquaintances they felt obligated to invite. That stuck with me, so when I got engaged, I made a pact with my fiancée. We weren't falling into that trap. We kept it small with just close family and friends and spent under $5,000. No debt, no regrets. Honestly, everyone had a blast and it felt way more personal. I can't help but cringe now when I see people pouring money into over-the-top weddings. COVID should have taught us all that simple can still be special. Story 19. I tried buying tickets to see my favorite band and saw nosebleeds were $175 each. By the time I added parking and fees, it was a small mortgage payment. I ended up staying home, playing their Spotify, and pretending my couch was the venue. cheaper and no overpriced beer. Story 20. I used to be the guy who would defend fast food to anyone who dared criticize it. It's cheap, quick, and convenient, I'd say, brushing off anyone who argued otherwise. But those arguments feel laughable now. The last straw for me was a McDonald's trip not too long ago. I went through the drive-thru and ordered a basic meal, a Big Mac, medium fries, and a Coke. When the cashier said, "That'll be $14, I was stunned. $14 for a fast food combo? It was like being smacked in the face by inflation. The burger wasn't even satisfying, smaller than I remembered. The fries were lukewarm, and the Coke seemed mostly ice. I left feeling like I'd been conned. The reality set in deeper the next day when I grabbed lunch at a local diner. For $12, I had an actual meal, a club sandwich stacked with fresh ingredients, a side of crispy fries, and a soda with unlimited refills. Oh, and a slice of pie for dessert, because why not? The waitress even joked with me, calling me hun, as she refilled my drink. That meal was cheaper and a million times more enjoyable than my McDonald's value meal. And don't get me started on Taco Bell. My wife had a pregnancy craving for some crunch wraps and a quesadilla. I figured, what, maybe $15 max? Nope. The total came to $25 for Taco Bell. I used to live on Taco Bell in college because it was dirt cheap and hit the spot. Now, the prices make me question if it's worth the grease and regret that follows. I'm not alone in this. A buddy of mine swore off fast food altogether. He said, "For what I spend on a burger and fries, I can make a whole pot of spaghetti at home and feed my family." And he's right. Cooking at home has become my go-to now, too. It's cheaper, healthier, and doesn't leave me wondering why I paid premium prices for something I could have made better myself. Fast food isn't the cheap treat it used to be. It's a relic of a time when convenience didn't come with a 30% markup. Story 21. I booked an Airbnb for a weekend getaway and saw the cleaning fee was higher than the actual nightly rate. And get this, they wanted me to do a checklist of chores before leaving. I'm paying $150 to sleep here, and you want me to vacuum? At least hotels let me steal the soap guilt-free. Story 22. I grew up associating fast food with being cheap and convenient, but now it's a borderline scam. Just the other day I went to grab a quick bite at Wendy's. Nothing fancy, just a burger, fries, and a drink. The bill was over $14, and I swear the burger was smaller than I remembered. That same week I went to Applebee's with a friend, and for $13 each, we had steak dinners with mashed potatoes, broccoli, Caesar salads, and even free chips and salsa. It made me question everything. Why pay more for fast food when sit-down places offer better portions, better service, and sometimes even better food? The final nail in the coffin was when Taco Bell charged me $25 for a lunch order that used to be $12 a year ago. I've officially given up. Cooking at home is cheaper, healthier, and doesn't leave me wondering how I just spent $50 on 3 lukewarm tacos and some fries. Story 23. I picked up a dusty candle at Goodwill that looked like it had been sitting in someone's garage since the 90s. The price? $4.99 for a second-hand candle. I put it down and whispered, "Goodwill, are you okay?" Because clearly they're not. Story 24. A few years ago, I laughed at the idea that everything would be a subscription someday. Now, it's my reality. From streaming services to apps, I'm constantly bombarded with monthly fees for things I used to own outright. The worst was when I bought a Subaru with a factory-installed remote start. I was so excited about it, until I realized I had to pay a subscription to actually use the damn feature. I mean, I already paid for the car. It feels like a con, renting something I supposedly own. Then there's the software. Remember when Microsoft Office came with your computer? Now you're paying yearly for the same programs. Even parking isn't safe. I had to download an app, create an account, and pay through my phone just to park for 2 hours downtown last week. It's maddening, and I've started opting out whenever I can. Honestly, if I don't absolutely need it, I just go without. Story 25. A friend invited me to their wedding, and I saw the invitation, black tie, fancy venue, and a registry full of designer stuff. I RSVP'd no faster than you can say $300 tux rental. I'll send a gift card and toast them from home in my sweatpants. Story 26. The other night I wanted to watch The Office. First I checked Netflix, nope, gone. Then Prime, wrong subscription. Finally I gave up and Googled it. Turns out it's only on Peacock, another service I don't have. At this point I'd rather just reenact the episodes myself. Story 27. I remember when Netflix first came out with streaming. It was revolutionary. No late fees, no commercials, just endless movies and TV shows for about $10 a month. It felt like the future. But now, the streaming landscape is nothing short of a nightmare. I realized it had spiraled out of control when I looked at my bank statement last month. Netflix, $20. Hulu, $15 for ad-free, though I'm still convinced they sneak one or two in. Disney Plus, HBO Max, Amazon Prime. All of them added up to more than my old cable bill. And the kicker? There's still nothing to watch. I tried cutting back, canceling some services to save money. But that's when I ran into another problem. Exclusivity. Want to watch The Mandalorian? Better keep Disney Plus. In the mood for Stranger Things? You'll need Netflix. Oh, and that new HBO series everyone's talking about? Time to resubscribe. It feels like the industry saw how people celebrated cutting the cord and said, let's make it worse. The ads pushed me over the edge. Prime started rolling out ads during shows, even though I'm already paying for a subscription. I canceled the moment I saw the first one. It's the principle of the thing. If I'm paying for a service, I shouldn't have to sit through ads like it's basic cable. And don't get me started on the constant price hikes. Hulu, Netflix, and Disney Plus all announced increases this year. It's like they're in a competition to see who can bleed us dry the fastest. Now I've gone old school. I rotate one service a month. I binge everything I care about on Netflix, cancel it, then move on to Hulu or Disney Plus. It's not perfect, it's kind of a hassle actually, but it's the only way to keep costs down. I even started renting DVDs again from the library. It feels almost rebellious. Streaming was supposed to be a cheaper, better alternative to cable. Instead, it's become a fragmented, overpriced mess. Story 28. Thrifting used to be my go-to for everything. Clothes, furniture, even gifts. I loved the thrill of finding a unique item at a bargain price, but over the past couple of years, it's like thrift stores forgot what they are. Last week, I popped into Goodwill looking for some work shirts. I walked out empty-handed and baffled. They were charging $40 for second-hand blazers that weren't even name brands. I saw a beat-up side table for $30 and a set of mismatched plates marked at $8 each. Are you kidding me? The last straw was a candle, half-used, dusty, and priced higher than a brand-new one at Walmart. It's frustrating because these places get their inventory for free. I've started giving my donations directly to local shelters and church groups instead. The magic of thrifting has been replaced by corporate greed, and I'm over it. Story 29. I pulled up to Taco Bell thinking I'd grab a quick snack. 2 tacos and a soda came to $15. $15. For that much, I could have made a pot of chili that would last me a week. Taco Bell? More like Wallet Bell. Story 30. When I was a teenager, going to concerts was an affordable escape. I could see my favorite bands for $30 or $40 and not think twice about it. Fast forward to today, and even mediocre seats for moderately popular artists cost over $150. And that's before you factor in parking, drinks, or merch. I wanted to take my girlfriend to a show recently, but the cheapest tickets were $200 each, after fees. We didn't go. It feels like concerts have become a luxury for the wealthy. Ticketmaster's monopoly doesn't help, with their insane service fees that make no sense. It's heartbreaking because live music used to be so accessible. Now I stick to small venues and local acts. It's not the same, but at least it's still affordable. Big concerts have turned into once-in-a-lifetime splurges instead of regular experiences. Story 31. I swung by Wendy's last week and ordered a burger, fries, and a drink. When they said, "That'll be $16, I thought I misheard. $16? For what used to be a cheap meal? Fast food and I are officially over. Story 32. I used to love skiing. Growing up in Colorado, it was a huge part of my winters. When I started, lift tickets were $70 a day. Not cheap, but manageable if you planned ahead. Fast forward to 2024, and a single day at Vail costs $329. Yes, $329. That doesn't even include parking, rentals, or food. I went from skiing 15 times a season to sitting out entirely. My gear is collecting dust in the garage because I can't justify the expense anymore. It's not just the cost either. Resorts have gotten so crowded that you spend half the day standing in lift lines. It's heartbreaking because skiing used to be for everyone, not just the ultra-rich. Now I spend my winters hiking and snowshoeing, still in the mountains, still surrounded by beauty, but without the financial gut punch. Story 33. Thrifting used to be my secret weapon. Need a new outfit for an event? Thrift store. Looking for quirky home decor? Thrift store. It was affordable, eco-friendly, and always felt like a bit of a treasure hunt. But lately, thrifting has become a cruel joke. My last trip to Goodwill left me in shock. I was browsing the men's section when I spotted a flannel shirt, exactly the kind of thing I love wearing in the fall. I flipped over the tag, expecting $5, maybe $10 tops. It was $35. $35 for a second-hand shirt that wasn't even a name brand. I figured it was a fluke, so I kept browsing. But every single item was outrageously priced. Faded jeans, $40, worn-out sneakers, $50, a chipped ceramic vase, $25. It felt more like shopping at a trendy boutique than a thrift store. The kicker came when I bought a premium bubble kit for my kids. I thought it was overpriced at $5, but hey, the kids would love it. When I got home, my wife peeled off the Goodwill sticker to reveal the original price tag. $3 at Target. That was the last straw. I started digging and learned that Goodwill's upper management is raking in massive salaries, all while their stores sell donated items at ridiculous markups. It's infuriating. I've stopped donating to them entirely and now give my stuff directly to shelters or churches that help people in need. Even garage sales aren't the deal they used to be. I pulled up to one last weekend, and the seller had printed eBay listings taped to everything. They wanted $100 for an old microwave because it sold for that on eBay once. I walked away laughing. Thrifting has lost its charm. These days, I stick to local buy-nothing groups or skip the second-hand market altogether. It's a shame because it used to be such a joy.